What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Bork Report here on Bork News Network. As always, I am your host, Bork. And today on our episode, just going to be, since today's date is March 29th, 2025, we are just about 4 days away from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I plan to be doing a lot of coverage of the launch for the Nintendo system here. So today, just going to go through my predictions for that Direct. Not going to do any sort of bingo card or anything like that. Just going to give you kind of three segments. What I think is the surefire guarantees that we'll see in this Direct. If I'm wrong, then I would be extremely surprised. The second tier of guesses is going to be I could see it. Like, that's likely, or I feel confident that could happen. And then the third tier is the I wish, but I really don't think so, not right now tier. And that's just kind of those things that I think are going to happen in the Switch 2's life cycle at some point. For very obvious reasons, they will happen at some point in the life cycle, but I just don't think that the reveal is going to be when we get that information. So I think that's going to be really fun. Some housekeeping before we jump into that. Firstly, been posting TikToks pretty much daily this past week and have had a lot of good interaction on there. Really appreciate it. Again, if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's at GameBork, just as you see on screen there. Feel free to interact with those posts. We've had a lot of really good engagement. So keep on doing that. Gonna try and keep posting, not daily necessarily. I've just been posting my favorite Pokemon shorts by generation, and yeah, that's obviously 9 days of content right there. So been doing that, really enjoying that. Outside of that, just, really trying to play games, but I've been struggling. I've just been busy this month. Currently, I just beat Fire Red version, beat the champion yesterday. Still going to do post-game stuff in the Sevi Isles, and I'm going to try and complete as much of the Kanto decks as I can. Then I'm going to start up Pokemon Black as my next Pokemon playthrough. As well, this past week I started Death Stranding 1. I've never played it before. And if I'm being honest, the trailers that were released at South by Southwest a week or two ago were incredible. It was 10 minutes of pure cinema, and it made me really want to play the second game. So I went ahead and bought the first one and started that the other day. Not sure how much I'm loving it so far, but I'm only about a chapter in. So that's kind of what I've been up to. But outside of that, going to jump into the discussion points here, which is the Nintendo Switch predictions. Going to try and make this a bit of a shorter episode. It is 9 p.m. as I'm filming this now. I've had a busy day. Had a pickleball tournament that took way longer than I expected it to. Then went and got dinner when I got home and have just really finally settled in. So let's jump into it here and start with my Nintendo Switch 2 launch guarantees. These are the things that I would be shocked to not see in this presentation. And the first thing that I will point out is that Mario Kart 9 will be a launch title. There's no shot they showed it on the last one if it is not going to be a launch title. Mario Kart 8 is the highest selling game on the Switch by a very wide margin. It's got 60 plus million units sold lifetime, which is insane. So I just think they're going to jump on that momentum, try and make sure that the Mario Kart game on the Switch 2 is as impressive as it can be. And it would be silly for them to not have that be a launch title. So that's guarantee number one. I've seen some people think that that's going to be, kind of like the Switch did it, where Mario Kart released like a month later. But I don't think that's the case here. I think Mario Kart is enough of a sell to get people to buy the system. And if I'm being honest, most people that want a Switch 2 are going to buy it with whatever games are launched. So I don't think that the launch lineup matters too much, though I do think that they're going to have a pretty decent launch lineup between Metroid and some things like that, which mini guarantee, I think this could fall more into the I could see it picks, which is my second tier, but Metroid Prime not getting a release date at the Switch Direct last week tells me that is going to be a Switch 2 title, and it's going to be, I don't know that they're going to do a ton of press on the game. I think the trailer was enough last week, but I think they will announce it as a Switch 2 launch title or something along that line. I think that the biggest reveal from this Direct will be that there is a 3D Mario game ready to roll this holiday season. It'll launch in the fall at some time, and they will reveal this. I don't know that they're going to go into too much detail. It might kind of be like the Switch 1 presentation where you just see a little bit of gameplay on the screen and you're like, that's new Mario. We're so in. But there will be some sort of mention for 3D Mario and something gets revealed. And it's going to be launching this year. So I think that they would be silly not to release a 3D Mario this year. I feel like they almost did this in the Direct last week, but I think that they will confirm that the Switch 2 will have enhanced ports of Switch 1 games. Not every game. They'll probably show a list of, at launch, these 8 games on the Nintendo Switch will be enhanced to play and run better than they do on the Switch, or they'll be more it's Nintendo. They don't talk about specs and power and resolution and stuff. This might be the first time that they ever do. I'm going to put that in kind of my, I could see it, or my long shot, I don't think so, but maybe picks. But they will say that they will enhance games from the Switch to perform better or play more fun or whatever. They'll have some gimmicky way of saying it. They don't go into details on specs and upgrade prices for those games. I think if they wanted to be consumer friendly, it'd be a free update. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it'll be like 10 or 20 bucks, kind of like the PlayStation has done for, some of their things like The Last of Us, when they, if you have The Last of Us on PS4, you can spend $10 to get the upgraded version on PS5. Something like that will take place, but I think that that is a guarantee that they will come out and say there are titles from the Switch that will run better on the Switch 2 with an update/enhanced version. I think that there's no chance they do this Direct without Legend of Zelda being present in some way or form. I don't think it's going to be a new game. That is going to be another pick that I have here later, but for now, I think that there's just some sort of mention for Zelda, and I think that the most likely is a Breath of the Wild remastered or the enhanced version of Breath of the Wild. And secondarily, I could see them announcing that Twilight Princess Wind Waker ports are ready. They will be Switch 1 games, but there will be enhancements for the Switch 2 as well. And then the last thing that I'm going to try and guarantee right now is that they will reveal the C button. I think that there's already been some graphics that do show the C button, which was weirdly not present in the initial Switch teaser in February. But they will announce the C button, and it'll be revealed as kind of a community hub button where you can join up with friends for party play, or you can do voice chat or things along. It'll be like kind of just a community hub on the Switch with that C button. I believe if you look at the other Joy-Con, the capture button still exists there, so I think that this one will have a separate purpose other than the capture button. And I think more than likely the Switch 2 will hopefully have native voice chat available on the console. That's going to be in my I could see it picks, because Nintendo likes to Nintendo. They like to keep things as user-friendly as possible. As far as age goes, it's not user-friendly to use an app for voice chat, but it is more user-friendly for a parent that is letting their kids play games and maybe talk to some friends. I don't know. It's silly. Nintendo's going to Nintendo. Jumping into the I could see it category, which is the things that I think we can definitely see. I think that there's a high likelihood that these things are shown, but take it with a grain of salt. These are all just predictions. The I could see it category is certainly things that I think could easily not be there as well. And the first one of those is that Nintendo will reveal the next Splatoon game, probably just called Splatoon 4, just because they've kept the number system for that game, and that it will launch this holiday season. I think that it is a big multiplayer experience on the Nintendo Switch currently. Splatoon 2 and 3 were very, very well received and very highly respected games in the multiplayer community, and it's one of those games Nintendo hosts tournaments for and things along those lines. So I think that they will reveal Splatoon 4 and have it set to launch this year, similar to the Switch 1 launch, which had Splatoon 2 launch in, I believe, October of the launch year. So they released the console in March, and I think Splatoon came out in October, if I remember correctly. I think in the I could see it category, the next one I'm going to choose is that a new Kirby game is revealed. Not much is shown, maybe some sort of gimmick that comes along with the game. Very short, but they will say Kirby is coming. It'll be a 2026 date with no specific release date. I just think that Kirby and the Forgotten Land played and sold really well. I think that came out in 2021 or 2. I don't think Kirby games typically have the intense development cycles of like a Legend of Zelda or a Mario game. So I think that that's definitely a series that could be primed and ready for a new game at launch. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's going to be another 2D side-scrolling Kirby, but with like a 3D art style. So not a Forgotten Land type game, although I would very much welcome that. So I am going to predict a new Kirby game in my second category of I could see it picks. I think that there will be a new announcement for a new gimmick game utilizing the new mouse controls and any other new functionality that we may not know about at this point. Similar to like a 1-2 switch. It's so Nintendo to do that. I hope it's a pack-in because 1-2 switch, I didn't buy it. People that have it, have said that it's like maybe 30 to 40 minutes of fun and then you're done. It's almost every console Nintendo has launched has had some sort of gimmick game to show off the new features. And we know that the mouse control is coming. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try and find some little way to show that off. Secondarily, probably in the more I wish, but I don't think so pick is maybe they will show some games like Balatro or some indie titles that work really well on the PC with a mouse and keyboard. Maybe they'll show that with the mouse controls, and that'll be the gimmick instead is, hey, check this out. You can now play Stardew Valley and use the controller like a mouse and click things and do this. Or here's Balatro. I'm getting off topic. These are not things that I wrote down, but as I talk about it, they're things that come to my mind. So to circle back to it, I think they reveal some sort of gimmick game utilizing the new mouse controls. While I think the C button will be a community hub, I still am skeptical of Nintendo. So in the I could see it picks, I am putting that the Switch 2 will utilize voice chat natively on the console, not through the app. And with that, there's either going to be a microphone in the Joy-Con or I don't know. That's why I'm skeptical, is because I don't know if there would be a microphone on the system or the Joy-Con would have it or how they would do that necessarily, because the Switch obviously uses the Switch app to use voice chat, which nobody does. People just use Discord instead. So last thing I'll put in this is that I think this is probably leaning more towards a guarantee, but I'm going to put it in the I could see it picks because I still think that, this presentation is going to be long. I don't know how long, but I don't know if they can reveal everything in the direct. It might be a tweet afterwards or something like that. Maybe they'll put it in the Nintendo Today app. But I think a new Pro controller will be revealed and will launch with the console, include the C button. It'll look very similar to the old Pro controller, which is an amazing controller. And I think that I don't know if they'll reveal price. I think they'll reveal the console price, but my guess is that it's going to be $80 to $90. Very expensive, but similar to the current Pro controller. Jumping into the final category of I wish, but I don't think so picks. I think that there will be a new Animal Crossing game revealed. Not much information shared right now, but I think that it is briefly mentioned that they are developing the next Animal Crossing game, and it will reveal and release. They'll fully reveal it later this year, and it will release in 2026 at some point. It's been 6 years since the last Animal Crossing, or the 2026 release date will have been 6 years. Currently, it has been 5 years since the Animal Crossing New Horizons game came out, and it's been like 3 years since the last update / DLC for that game. So it's been a while. I guarantee they have not stopped working on Animal Crossing, even though everyone thinks they gave up on New Horizons. That's not the case. But I think it's time. I think it's time they reveal it. I think that at least get those Animal Crossing fans hyped up and ready to roll. I think they tease it and say that it's going to come out in 2026. Second is I am going to predict as a very, very lengthy pick, very long shot, more or less, that a new teaser for the next Legend of Zelda game is revealed. No date announced, just that development has begun and will be developed specifically for the Switch 2. I think, we saw Tears of the Kingdom's teaser trailer about 2 years after the release of Breath of the Wild. I think the first time we saw it was 2019. It was a CG'd trailer in the same art style as Breath of the Wild, where they went under the castle and found Ganondorf. So I think that there could be something. I don't think they'll do a trailer, but I do think that they'll throw up the Triforce or the logo for Legend of Zelda and just say, hey, we are working on a Nintendo Switch 2 Legend of Zelda game. Development has begun, is going well, blah, blah, blah. They'll say something. No release date, just the development has begun. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think that it is something that I would like to see. I want to know that they're working on it, even though obviously they are. It's just nice to hear it released into the public eye at some point. Last one that I've got here is that I think that there's a very long shot chance here that they reveal Masahiro Sakurai's new game and that it is not a Smash Brothers game. It is a new IP that is being developed for the Nintendo Switch 2. Whether it's multiplayer or not, I don't know. I know he excels and knows what he's doing in that front, but I just think that there's a very long chance that that could be revealed here, whether they kick it over to him in his apartment or house or whatever he's got going on there, kind of like his video series or the reveals of the Smash characters. He'll give us a little brief synopsis, maybe give us a name, but just something will be revealed from Sakurai. We already know he's working on something. Nintendo approached him. He had a meeting with them. It got approved. So I don't know if this is the appropriate time to reveal that information, but I think that it is, if you're trying to make this one of the most hype events ever, I don't know if Nintendo is or not, but that would certainly bring the hype levels up. And if it were a new Smash game, I don't think it will be, then I think that would set people over the edge. It would be an incredible, incredible reveal. So with that being said, just to recap kind of a list here, guarantees Mario Kart 9 launch title, 3D Mario game revealed, set for launch in the fall. Nintendo confirms that there will be Switch 2 enhanced ports of Switch 1 games. They don't go into details or prices or things like that, just that there will be games from the Switch 1 that are enhanced. Sorry, I just hit my mic. Legend of Zelda is present at the Direct. I think it'll be a Breath of the Wild remaster, like a full remaster, or they'll bring over Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker, and they'll run better on the Switch 2 than they will on the Switch 1. And lastly, C button on the Joy-Con revealed as a community hub for party play / voice chat. Second category, I could see it, but, I could also not see it. Nintendo reveals Splatoon 4, new Kirby game slated for 2026, new gimmick game utilizing the new mouse controls, reveal the Switch 2 voice chat will happen natively on the console, not through the app, and a new Pro controller revealed at this event will launch alongside the console. And the I don't think so, but I wish picks, new Animal Crossing game announced, given a 2026 date, teaser for a Legend of Zelda game, a new entry in development, not ready to go, nothing else to share. And lastly, Sakurai's new game revealed not to be a Smash game. They'll give us a title. Not sure about dates, but a Sakurai reveal. Again, I don't think so, but maybe. I wish. So that's kind of my list there, kind of my idea for this Nintendo Switch Direct. Excuse me, a little cough there. But with that being said, I'm going to hop off. It's been about 20 minutes. Wanted to make this a shorter episode since it's late at night. Really enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys did as well. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciating all the love I've been getting on the TikToks and YouTube Shorts. Please feel free to watch those and react appropriately. But outside of that, I'm going to jump off a little early. So once more, this has been the Bork Report on Bork News Network. I am your host, Bork, and I'll see you on the next one.